We are officially more than halfway through 2026, which means Goodreads has revealed the books everyone is reading this year. Are we all reading the same top 12 books? Or how many of them have been quietly sitting on your TBR while you continue buying completely different books? Today, we are counting down the 12 most read books in the 2026 Goodreads Reading Challenge so far, starting with number 12 and working our way to the book currently sitting at number 1. These rankings are based on how many Goodreads Reading Challenge participants marked each book as read. They're not necessarily the highest rated books or even books published in 2026. They are simply the books that most people have marked finished for the year. I've read some of them. I want to read some of them, and some of them I did not even finish. Okay, let's see how many you have read, and definitely stay until number 1 because a movie adaptation may have helped launch the book all the way back to the top. Starting at number 12, we have Theo of Golden by Alan Levi. This is one I have read, and it's very different from many of the books that I normally pick up. The story follows a mysterious older man named Theo who arrives in the small southern town of Golden. He discovers a collection of portraits hanging in a coffee shop and begins buying them so he can return each one to the person pictured. Through that project, Theo becomes connected to the people in the town and starts changing their lives through small acts of generosity and kindness. It's basically a warm hug in book form about seeing people, helping people, and creating connections where you least expect them. I liked it, but I wasn't obsessed with it. Something more interesting to me is the author's story of self-publishing this book and it picking up steam to get where it is. If you want to learn more about that, then check him out on Oprah's podcast. At number 11, we have a book first published in 1847. Yes. While the rest of us are out here chasing every shiny new release, Emily Bronte has casually returned to dominate Goodreads almost 180 years later. Wuthering Heights is a gothic classic about Heathcliff and Catherine, two people tied together by an extremely complicated relationship. There's obsession, revenge, miserable people just wandering around, nobody's communicating properly. Basically, it has all of the ingredients of a modern romance, except here everybody is just colder. I have not read this one, but its renewed popularity appears to be connected to the recent screen adaptation with the beautiful Margot Robbie. Adaptations have a way of sending everyone back to the book, as you will see on this list. At number 10, we have Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. And Goodreads, I tried. But I did not finish this one. I was so damn bored. A father and his 3 children are the final caretakers of a remote island near Antarctica that houses a massive seed bank. A mysterious woman washes ashore during a storm, but she may be hiding the real reason that she came to the island. Then she discovers sabotaged radios and a freshly dug grave, so clearly this is not going to be a relaxing little island vacation. Now, this book has isolation, family secrets, climate themes, survival, and a mystery unfolding while a massive storm closes in. All of the things that I should have loved, but I did not at all. But obviously, plenty of readers connected with it because it still reached the number 10 spot. I may be the problem here, and I am completely willing to accept that. At number 9 is The Wedding People by Alison Esbach. This is another one that I've read, and the setup is both incredibly dark, but strangely funny. Phoebe arrives alone at a fancy hotel in Rhode Island, expecting to spend her final night there. Unfortunately for her plans, she also has arrived in the middle of an elaborate week-long wedding celebration. The bride initially sees Phoebe as a potential disaster who could ruin everything, but the two women form an unexpected connection. It becomes a story about loneliness, friendship, starting over, and what happens when your life collides with someone else's at exactly the right moment. This book has stayed popular through book clubs and word of mouth, and I can see why. It gives readers plenty to talk about beyond simply whether they liked the book. And I really liked the book. At number 8 is Heart the Lover by Lily King. This is a love story following an unnamed narrator who becomes close to two young men, Sam and Yash, during her senior year of college. What begins with books, intellectual conversations, inside jokes, and a complicated romantic dynamic continues to shape her life for years afterward. The story moves from the intensity of young love into middle age and explores how our earliest relationships can stay with us even after our lives move in completely different directions. It's also connected to Lily King's earlier novel, Writers and Lovers. This one I have not read yet. At number 7, we have People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. This is one that I have read, and I read it a while ago. It follows Poppy and Alex, two best friends who could not be more different. Poppy loves adventure and travel. Alex prefers routines, books, and staying home. I'm like Alex. But for years, they take one summer vacation together until something happens on one of those trips and they completely stop speaking. 2 years later, Poppy convinces Alex to take one more vacation with her in hopes of fixing their friendship. And because this is an Emily Henry book, we have confusing feelings. This has friends to lovers, forced proximity, travel disasters, and years of romantic tension. The movie adaptation has likely brought even more readers to the book, which is a pattern, again, we continue to see here on this list. And I'm guessing that's why this one is on the list, because it's not a newer book. Did I like it? Yes. Did I love it? Not so much. Not my favorite Emily Henry, but the movie was also very cute. At number 6 is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This one takes us into the NASA Space Shuttle program during the 1980s. Joan Goodwin is an astrophysics professor who's selected to train as an astronaut at Houston's Johnson Space Center. She joins a group of new candidates and finds friendship, ambition, and a love that she never expected. Then, a 1984 space mission changes everything. It is historical fiction mixed with romance, science, ambition, and what I assume will be some emotional devastation because everybody says they cried, and this is Taylor Jenkins Reid. She does not invite us into one of her books, and everybody just has a pleasant afternoon. I have read many by her, but I have not read this one yet. And fun fact about this one, it is also currently, as we're halfway through the year, the most read historical fiction book in the Goodreads Challenge. Number 5 is this one, My Husband's Wife by Alice Feeney. This is one that I read, and the premise immediately grabbed me. I'm a big fan of Alice Feeney in general, but listen to this. Eden Fox goes for a run on the morning of her first major art exhibition. But when she returns home, her key no longer works. Then another woman answers the door, and Eden's husband claims that this woman is his wife. So we have one house, one husband, 2 women, and somebody is obviously lying. This story also takes us back 6 months to Bertie, a reclusive woman who inherits the same house and discovers a mysterious clinic claiming it can predict the exact date someone will die. Now, I know that makes it sound weird, but it's not that weird. I really like this one. At number 4 are my boys, Heated Rivalry by Rachel Reed. This is the second book in the Game Changers series. If you don't know about the book, you for sure know about the show. This hockey romance follows Shane Hollander and Ilya Rozanov, 2 elite professional hockey players who are huge rivals in public, but have a very different relationship in private. What begins as a secret physical relationship develops over several years while they compete against one another and try to figure out what they actually mean to each other. This book was originally published in 2019, but the TV show obviously had readers racing back to the source material. And apparently, they did not simply add it to the TBRs, they actually read it. Now, before I watched the show, I tried listening to the first book in the series, and I couldn't do it. The story was great. It was actually a dedicated episode in the show and centered around Scott, Hunter, and Kip. But the narrator was so bad that I couldn't listen to it. So I said, screw it. I'm just going to watch the show instead. At number 3 is The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. This is one that I listened to, and the narrator did a great job. I liken this book to Theo of Golden. Same vibes. It is told entirely through letters and emails written by Sybil Van Antwerp, which for me got a little boring, a bit. If you liked it, I totally get it. Sybil regularly writes to her family, her friends, authors, and just people that she's met throughout her life. And as we read her correspondence, we slowly learn about her relationships, her regrets, and a painful part of her past that she's never fully confronted. It's a quiet, character-driven story about literature, forgiveness, and the ways we connect with people through writing. And number 2, I liked this one so much I bedazzled it. It is Dear Debbie by Frida McFadden, because naturally, a brand new Frida McFadden thriller was going to appear near the top of this list. And let me just say, Debbie is my girl. Behind the Housemaid, this is my favorite Frida book. Debbie Mullen has spent years giving practical advice to women through her newspaper column, Dear Debbie. But behind the scenes, Debbie's own life is falling apart. She's lost her job. Something strange is happening with her teenage daughters, and her husband appears to be keeping secrets. After years of being reasonable, Debbie decides she's done. She's ready to start taking some of her own advice and getting payback against the people who deserve it. This one is also available through Kindle Unlimited, which probably helped more readers pick it up quickly. And Frida McFadden has clearly figured out exactly what her readers want. Short chapters, questionable people, escalating chaos, and at least one moment that makes you wonder, what the hell did I just read? Any guesses for number 1? The most read book in the 2026 Goodreads Reading Challenge so far is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. This book was originally published in 2021, but it has climbed back to the number 1 spot as excitement built around its movie adaptation with Ryan Gosling. The story follows Ryland Grace, a man who wakes up alone on a spaceship with no memory of who he is, why he's there, or what he's supposed to be doing. He eventually realizes he's the only surviving member of a desperate mission to save Earth from an extinction-level threat, and he's got to recover his memories and find a way to complete a mission that he doesn't remember agreeing to. I haven't read this one yet, and I know many people absolutely loved it, and they all suggest listening to this one on audio. Even readers who say they normally avoid science fiction, like me, recommend this book, so I need to know if I should give it a chance. Andy Weir also wrote The Martian, so clearly he enjoys abandoning people in space and watch them solve stressful problems. Long after this movie hit theaters, it has still remained one of Goodreads' most widely read and highly recommended science fiction novel for years. So those are the 12 books Goodreads users have read the most in 2026 up until end of July. And what surprised me is how many of these were not actually published this year. It proves that a book does not have to be brand new to become the book everyone is talking about, and obviously, an adaptation helps. And that's why I think as we finish the year, we will see some off-campus books on here, and I am sure we will see The Calamity Club make the list. So I need to know, how many of these 12 books have you read? Which one deserves its spot, and which book are you shocked did not make the list? And remember, this is only for the first part of 2026. So tell me in the comments which one you think we'll see at the end of the year. I already called Off Campus and The Calamity Club. And if you like seeing what everyone else is reading, subscribe to my channel because I share lots of thriller recommendations, romance recommendations, bookish opinions, obviously, and updates on the books currently taking over the internet. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.